Have we as Manchester United fans been distracted by the real talking point at Manchester United right now, which is Michael Carrick? Everything that's going on off the pitch, everything else that's going on with plans, with INEOS, the finances, the transfers and everything else. The only good thing at Manchester United right now is what Michael Carrick has done with these players and the turnaround and the talk of the players. We touched on it last night, but it keeps getting overwhelmed by everything else going on at Manchester United. So I wanted to make a point this morning of talking about Michael Carrick and the concerns and the risk that Manchester United are running this summer if they don't make a decision before the end of this season. Now, that's not in saying that Man United should appoint somebody before the end of the season. I'm fully aware, I'm fully on board with everything else that's been said regarding Manchester United and making a decision after the season finishes. But surely there has to be talks now going on behind the scenes. How many managers of the month do we get? Is it just a new manager bounce? Who else is available for Manchester United out there? Like we've discussed all week, when the man is staring us right in the face, sat there already in the seat. And with now 4 Premier League clubs. Last week we said there was 3. This week there is now 4 Premier League clubs interested in potentially taking Michael Carrick. And more importantly, Michael Carrick and his team this summer for their permanent jobs at their clubs. 4 different clubs in the Premier League now. And that's the important bit in this. It's Carrick and his team that have impressed at Manchester United, not just him. And wherever Carrick goes, does that team go? And is that a threat to Manchester United going anywhere else in the Premier League? It's Forever United TV. I'm Adam. Welcome along. It's Saturday morning. We're not talking FA Cup because we're not in it. And it's a pretty boring weekend in terms of action on the pitch. So let's discuss everything in detail regarding Manchester United's future and the future with Michael Carrick. I'm getting more and more and more on board with the idea of Carrick settling in at Manchester United. And I'm really intrigued. Like I've said before, I'm kind of putting the whole week into perspective and putting it all together in this morning show here on Forever United TV today. So get your comments in on this. If you're catching up with us later on and watching, get your comments in. If you're in live with us right now, give me your thoughts on this. But the news that Graham Bailey brought up yesterday regarding Spurs definitely being interested in taking Michael Carrick as the manager come the end of the season. Think about the Spurs links, the amount of time that he played there, his love for Spurs as well, like he's also talked about in several interviews. A concern that we might be losing the best option for United. And I reckon teams and representatives of certain clubs are trying to get through to the agent and talk to Michael Carrick as well. And if he gets any sign of the ship being completely unsettled and problems at Manchester United, let's not forget, like we said right at the start of Michael Carrick, right at the start when he took the job, this was a trial. This was him putting himself out there. This was a free hit. What can you do? What qualities have you got for the first time working for a prolonged period of time in the Premier League? Are you good enough to stay in the Premier League? Is this going to put him in line for a job elsewhere in Europe? And whatnot. Now that obviously is for Michael Carrick, and he's going to do everything that he possibly can to give himself a chance personally as well. Because let's not forget, he loves Man United. We love Michael Carrick, the player and the coach at the moment. That's fantastic. But Michael Carrick also has to think for himself, has to look to his future, his family, and of course the team that's with him there are relying on this job being done well. They're going to give their maximums for Michael Carrick, of course, but Carrick, in looking at his future, you've got to look at that and think from the man side of things as well, from him. And his head could be turned by not only just other clubs offering him more and a better contract, because we know that INEOS aren't really up for spending quite a lot of money on players. They have a budget. The debacle, which is Manchester United off the pitch at the moment and everything else going on, Manchester United are running the risk of losing their best option that they've got right now as well. So again, I'm not surprised when we spoke last night about Manchester United quietly being really impressed with what Michael Carrick's done. I would be absolutely astonished if Manchester United aren't talking to Carrick now and trying to settle something in and trying to get in with an idea of what the future might hold in case of what might happen this season. And by that, I mean, obviously finishing the Champions League. There has to be some form of communication going on as the plans. Like Carrick has already said that he is talking about the plans in the future. He loves Manchester United, so he's talking about the transfers, what type of midfielder would fit in at United, so on, so forth. It all leads into talk of Michael Carrick taking the job permanently, I feel. And I think Manchester United will look at it, and I've said this myself a few times, the next couple of games for Manchester United will put us right in the thick of it. The fact that we are in the thick of it tells you how well Michael Carrick has already done. It's the best football that we've seen, and like I've said before, don't take for granted what the players are saying and how they're playing on the back of what they're saying. Benjamin Sesko, Matthias Cunha, obviously as well, Harry Maguire, Bruno Fernandes, Diogo Dalot, all of these players that have been speaking, Luke Shaw also, on Michael Carrick and his impact at the football club. To have that going into the summer transfer window and summer of Manchester United in general puts the players at ease and gives them that comfortable feeling going into World Cups. And that's where I take it on to the next level. Michael Carrick being involved at Manchester United still going into the summer doesn't give them World Cup players that thought of looking elsewhere. It settles things down. It just sorts out everything that's needed to be sorted out before we go into the real business, which is bringing players in. It deals with the Luke Shaw. It deals with the Harry Maguire, the Bruno Fernandes. Obviously, Casemiro's already got it. It deals with all of the nitty-gritty that needs to be put out of the way and not dragged into what is going to be a massive summer for Manchester United. Full focus needs to be on transfers and the future of this football club. If Carrick's settled, the players are settled. And look, this is all based off the end of the season as well for Manchester United. But again, and the reason I'm talking about this, and every time I finish a show, and you could say, Adam, you said this last time, you said that last time, and then you said, no. The more and more I think about it, the more and more I start to think that Manchester United are probably going to be better with Michael Carrick. And that's just because there is no one else out there that's going to do a better job than him. It's now starting to look that way, where you can start to bring in the facts that Michael Carrick knows the players best, knows the football club, knows the expectations, now knows the Premier League after this season and what's expected, what he's coming up against. He's played the best, he's beat the best, he's gone up against the best coaches, and he's still unbeaten. Manchester United, the best form in the league and the most points out of anybody this year so far because of Michael Carrick and his team. All of this, you could say, yeah, but what if it all goes wrong later down the line? Isn't Areola going to come in and change Manchester United and make us more consistent? Is a Glasner, is a Silva, is a Pochettino? Because they're the ones that we're looking at. And again, you could say that Michael Carrick needs to prove himself and get top four, and that's right still. But every single manager that drops away now just makes me think more that Michael Carrick is the best option for United. And if there's a risk of losing him to Spurs, I mean, seriously, Spurs taking Michael Carrick and that team that he's got, that there is dangerous for Manchester United because it brings another rival back up to us going into next season. Because at the moment, I don't see anybody changing Spurs, and even Tudor coming in yesterday, I don't see that having an impact. And the lack of Premier League experience is going to come in, I think, with this and the players that they've got. But Michael Carrick will definitely have an impact wherever he goes. He's done it at Middlesbrough in his first season. He's doing it at Man United in his first season. And next season, if he goes elsewhere and he goes to another Premier League club, he's going to be bringing that club up to where Manchester United are again. And he's going to be competing against us. And that's something that I don't want. The talk from Graham Bailey about Spurs being interested, on top of what we said last week with Fulham, with Bournemouth, with Crystal Palace, also all being interested, their managers going. Why would we be giving our Manchester United manager to one of them clubs who finished below us, and I say it again, finished below us, to take that manager, which has finished, you guessed it, below us? It makes no sense whatsoever. Whether you think that they are more Premier League experienced than Michael Carrick or not, none of them have competed at the top end of the table. None of them have been near the top four and qualifying for the Champions League, which is the only way this football club, after last night's financial report came out, is the only way this club survives. So if Carrick gets United to the Champions League, it's a done deal. It has to be a done deal because Michael Carrick is the only one experienced enough to keep us there. So when you talk about experience and Michael Carrick not having the nous and winning trophies, let's not get carried away with ourselves first and foremost. Like Roy Keane said, if you want to win trophies, you've got to bring big managers in. Gary Neville said the same. Other people sitting on the fence. Right now, I'm thinking about solidifying top four next season and maybe taking a League Cup or an FA Cup or something, having a bit of a run in the Champions League. We need to stabilise as a football club. Stability is the only way Manchester United move forward before we move on to that next step. And that next step might be in 2028 when we're competing for the Premier League or the Champions League. But right now, no. Look at what you've got, look at what's in front of you, and just say, to be in the Champions League next season, and then the season after that, that secures Manchester United financially. I've just seen the list of UEFA league table of amounts of money that teams have won from the UEFA competitions from last year. The top 8, so the quarter-finalists for the Champions League, all netting a minimum 95 million euros. PSG going on to nearly 150 million because they got to the final, also the finalist Inter Milan also in that as well. And then you look down the list and you go down as far as the German teams. The English teams earn more because they're televised and the rights, and they always earn more money. Arsenal earning over 100 million euros pretty much last season from the Champions League. The guarantee of that is massive. And the gate receipts that come with it, Manchester United need to consistently be in the Champions League. It's Michael Carrick, if, of course, he gets Champions League. And this is what I'm saying. So this is what I do. I talk about a subject the day before or the night before, or go into it, and I say something like, and I remember this line from last night, because of all of the shit, because of all of the crap and everything that's going on at United right now, behind the scenes, the finances, the ownership and everything else, the future of this football club is in Michael Carrick's hands. If he gets us over the line, he deserves, for carrying the weight of this football club and the shitstorm behind it, he deserves to be in that hot seat next season. And no one else comes near him. No one else comes anywhere near him in terms of them other candidates. Forget Pochettino. Yeah, he might have got to a Champions League final, completely crap the bed in that one. I don't care for Pochettino. Don't want him anywhere near Manchester United. I don't want any of the others ahead of, obviously, Michael Carrick. If he doesn't get it, then I start to really worry about Manchester United, because that means we didn't get top 4. And where will we be next season? We'll be accepting a manager that is, and I'm not saying I'm not putting these managers down either, sorry. But Glasner, Areola, Silva, these types of managers I like, good managers, but they haven't ever got to the Champions League with a team. No experience of doing it. And, of course, we're accepting that level then, it seems to me. It does. So when you're talking big names, they're all gone, unfortunately. Now, there is one report that I've seen, and I've dug, to try and find information on potentially there being a better manager out there for us to actually look at right now. There isn't much, I'm going to be honest with you. There's talk of maybe Enrique's people instigating conversations with Manchester United. No idea. PSG are on a bit of a down at the moment. They got smashed 3-0 yesterday by Rennes in their title fight. They're actually not walking that league. They have dropped off massively. And that might be of interest of Enrique and him losing interest in that project now, like has been said, and he might look elsewhere come the summer. Keep an eye on it, maybe, yes. That's the only thing I can find anywhere else regarding any other promising manager right now, because everything else is gone. Carrick, if he makes top 4, has to get the job, because he's going to be the only man to have done it since Eric Ten Hag in terms of getting United where they need to as a football club. Needs most for Manchester United. What's more important right now? Yes, we want to be winning trophies, but we cannot just jump to that level. We need to stabilise. We need to be top 4. We need to be Champions League. And that, if Michael Carrick gets us that, is why he deserves to be in and, I think, given a chance. I mean, I've gone on there long enough about the rant. I mean, Spurs, seriously, let's not talk shit. I'm sorry for swearing on a Saturday morning, by the way. I have got some more I've got some more transfer news coming up as well with everything going on. I'm going to get into the comment section now on this. I just think it's important to remember where we are now and not get too excited about challenging for trophies with big managers. I would love the big manager. I've said this before. I said it when Carrick came in. I would love a big manager come in. I always wanted Tuchel. I would have liked Ancelotti. Both of them have gone. I like Nagelsmann. He is distancing himself, even though there's still talk there that he might come in. I just don't think anybody else really is that big name. So why would you go for somebody, make weight, in that department when you've already got that manager in place at United. And that's how I see it, and that's what I'm looking at from last night and all of the talk of everything going on financially. If you haven't watched that video, go back and watch it. It was a big piece on Manchester United extending that loan and the dire need for money at Manchester United at the moment, how desperate it is. And if he does give us this opportunity, Michael Carrick, that is, then I think we're going to be stupid not to give him the job. Let's get some comments in. Hello, everyone. Good morning. Hope you're all doing well. What are the plans for the weekend, everyone? Get in the chat, seeing as though there's no football. What game are you looking forward to? Some good ones tonight. We might actually do some content a bit earlier so we can all watch the football tonight. Some good FA Cup games later on, actually. So we'll keep an eye on that. Good news for Manchester United, bad news for Newcastle, by the way. I don't know if you've seen it, just to keep you up to date with other things going on. Bruno Guimaraes out for 8 weeks potentially with an injury, a bad injury. That means he misses the Manchester United game in March. Definitely out of that tie now. And with Tonali's head being turned here, there and everywhere, could be a very good time for us to try and change our look and our form at St James's Park. Look, I'm not saying that that's going to change the tide. I'm not going to say it's going to make the difference, but I'm looking at every single little bit at the moment that can take Man United into the Champions League. Super chat in from Greg to kick things off. Welcome along, everybody. Carrick's already managed in the Championship, Adam. I can't see him going to Spurs. He is a proven league manager now. United. Greg, you really are. You're stirring that pot, aren't you? There with that one, with Spurs going down. I think is what you're alluding to, mate. United are now stable on the pitch and playing good football. To change in the summer would be a disaster. Wilcox will see this. Carrick will be staying because he's doing what the owners want. A lot of people are pushing that side of things because they think Carrick will be the yes man and will fit in with what INEOS want. Again, if you want to make big plans for the future a couple of years down the line, fine, fair enough. But if Carrick keeps United in the top 4, that's the next step for United. We have been in, we have been out. We've been 2 years out of the Champions League now. It's embarrassing. Obviously, the sponsors are dropping off because of this. The only way Manchester United fix anything now, and I mean everything that's going on off the pitch, is by winning football matches and playing decent football. And if that happens for Manchester United, that will outpower everything, and everything will settle down off the pitch along with it. It's guaranteed. Got to win football matches. Let's see what else we've got here in the chat as well. PC Master says United are not going to get to Don Carlos. Enrique are too cool. Remaining options are Poch, Nagelsmann, Glasner, Areola, Silva, INEOS. Can still consider other options season end. Yeah, they can. I think you just said everything that I've just said there, mate. My opinion on this is that none of them, if Michael Carrick gets to the Champions League, can compare. I don't think. You've got a man that's already done it. From the brink of nowhere, turning it around the way that he has, that's what I'd be looking at if I was INEOS. And obviously, like someone just said, I don't want to say this, but the obvious is there. He will work with INEOS and probably be the one man that is going to, I would say. I mean, there'd be others and smaller managers that would come to United just to be at United. Is that the right way to go? I don't think so. If someone comes to United and says, I don't want to work with that model, then I'd rather them do that. I'd rather them be completely honest and say that and highlight the big issue at Manchester United. Again, it's all about what happens on the pitch. Get us in the Champions League, give Carrick the job. That's where we're at now. The managers that I wanted are gone, unfortunately. Unless Enrique comes back in, then I would consider it. And you all know what I would do. If Villa don't make Champions League football, go and spend money and get Unai Emery at Manchester United. And bring maybe Morgan Rogers with you as well at the same time. Because there's a story going out that he isn't going to stay at Villa. Just like Tonali's not going to stay at Newcastle. Players actually now looking at Champions League and saying, I want to be in the Champions League. That's how big it is finishing there. And if he gives us that opportunity, Michael Carrick, then there's, like I said, there's no one better than him. And that's what Man United need to be looking at. INEOS better not overlook Carrick. Carrick's X Factor, his Fergie days and United DNA make it a big difference which cannot be bought. MCFC Damut says, with Carrick, we can beat any team or we can beat any team with or without injuries. Oh, I don't know about that. That's a big one. I haven't seen the super chat which has just come in. It's been deleted by a mod, so I'm hoping it's not abusive. Otherwise, you've quite rightly been deleted. Hopefully it's not a mistake from Great Eva. Appreciate all super chats, but if they are abusive ones as well, they won't be read out. So I'm liking it simply just because I can't see it at the moment in appreciation. But please, hopefully that isn't an abusive one. I will find out, of course. Does anyone know why Carrick and Middlesbrough part ways, or was he sacked? If so, why? Middlesbrough currently top of the table without him. It was a while ago when they let him go, actually. And the recruitment and what Michael Carrick had and his style of football didn't quite suit Middlesbrough at the time. He had a lot of injuries and he lost players in the transfer window. It was a score one more than you, very risky type of football for Michael Carrick. And they were stable. They were stable. They weren't falling off a cliff or anything like that. It just dried up a little bit. And after 2.5 years, they decided to part ways. I just don't think it was the right place for him. And the 2-year period at Manchester United for Michael Carrick might suit. That's the sort of manager period now, like I feel. And you could move forward from Michael Carrick and get a bigger manager in 2 years, maybe. If Michael Carrick actually sustains top 4, keeps us there, or maybe wins a trophy, then you can look at Michael Carrick being the next, dare I say it, Pep Guardiola, Mikel Arteta, who has come through the ranks, earned their second in command badges, done a little bit of coaching elsewhere, and then come in and been given their chance at the big club. Could this be our chance with Michael Carrick? It's a big if, but and a maybe, of course, but still, you've got to look at that and say, 2 years, we'll know. I think. I don't think he would, if he was given the job, then I do think it would have been, what was I thinking? Then I lost my train of thought then, sorry. If he is given the job, then I think it would be a 18-month, maybe 2-year, I would say 2-year contract. I think that's what you're probably looking at. But yeah, the Carrick story, you can read into the Carrick story at Middlesbrough. There's plenty of details on it. From what I can pick out from it last time was certain players got injured at the wrong time. He was conceding a lot of goals. He was scoring a lot of goals. It was exciting to watch. But then big players started to be sold and other players moved out. Key injuries, like I said. And it sort of dried up a little bit for him after 2.5 years. So that's what I can take from it. But there is more detail on it, and that's not everything. You could read into that. There is plenty of stories on it. Chris Hilton says, if you are playing good football, I don't think he will get interference from higher up. They would trust him to do the job. This is why, for the first time last night, in hearing that Manchester United were actually delighted in what Michael Carrick's done. I mean, he's come in January. He's won Manager of the Month. He's got the best form record in the league. He's taken down the 2 best teams in the league who are shooting it out for the title well and comfortably well. He's taken down teams that we would fail against last season already in Fulham and Spurs. And yes, West Ham wasn't good. And he realised his mistake. He said it after the game as well in what he didn't do in the game. And we're now looking forward to seeing what Michael Carrick does after his first little setback. But even with a little setback, Manchester United are comfortably in the mix here of a shootout with 12 games to go. That's what we want. Just give Carrick a 1-year rolling contract to see how he does. Why can't I do £1.99 super chats minimum? I can do what I can do is £4.99. It's costing me a fortune. Sorry, mates. YouTube and the way they are. By the way, anyone who actually uses Apple Pay on super chats, don't. Don't, because I hardly receive it. By the time YouTube have taken theirs and the fee off Apple Pay, honestly, it's mad. So if you are looking to contribute, don't use Apple Pay. Look, you can pay whichever way you want. I'm only messing, but yeah, it's weird how they work it, Block, honestly. I've had loads of people say this, and I don't know, obviously, I'm on the other side of it, but loads of people have said the same thing, mate. It's kind of weird how it works, but still, thank you again, everybody who has contributed. I did get a clarification that super chat was not a nice one there from Graham as well, so thank you for updating me on that. Please don't do that, people. Wasting your money and your time. And I'm just reading through a few more comments as well. Bear with me 1 second. Greg there as well says the championship is no joke. It's not an easy league to win. The playoffs are some of the best football to watch in the world. So it's hard at the end of the league, you know. Yeah, no, it is a difficult league. And if you don't get support and backing and financial backing, then you are going to be up against it. You really are going to be struggling in there. It's a hard league to work with. The parachute payments give big advantages to the big clubs that have gone down. And it's difficult without the right backing. Oh, look at that, everybody, as well. Greg's name has turned blue, which means he has just turned into our latest moderator on Forever United TV. Legend, Greg. You've been a member long enough and supported this channel, buddy. Welcome to the Modders Club, mate. Say a big congratulations, please, everybody, in the chat to Greg. I think it was well-deserved. London says, PayPal should work and never seen it in here, to be honest. It should do, mate. Another creator I watch, it says he gets more money if you use PayPal. I've no idea. Well, thanks for the information, London. Another great contributor on the channel as well. Really appreciate that. Let's get through some of the other news. How the hell have we got to that time on the show already? Wanted to touch on some of the transfer news going around as well, because there is a little bit of an update. Quickly, the story just at the bottom of your screen is just a general one. That is Martin Hjulmand of Sporting. Manchester United still interested, even with, obviously, Ruben Amorim not being at the club. His price is down now to around the 40 million mark. And that's because his contract is running low. I'll double check what his contract actually is. It's 2028, so he's got 2 years left on his contract now after this season. The captain of Sporting, obviously 26. Manchester United have been looking at him before. He is a name on Manchester United's list for midfielders. He's not a name that I would go out of the way and pay big money for. I know 40 plus million doesn't seem a lot, but I would rather use every single penny on the best midfielders we can get. And Martin Hjulmand, for me, no. Even if it is a cut price, it's a report coming from Portugal. You'll see it on social media today. Again, it's there, but should we really be looking at players like that? No, thank you. Not with everyone else in front of him. If I'm desperate, I don't even think I would go there then. I've not been impressed when I've watched him. Good in an Amorim side. And again, might be better than Manuel Ugarte. That's all I'll say. But I want more. I want absolute powerhouses and top-notch players. Not saying he's not a very good player. He isn't the best that we can get. And if we get Champions League, we need the best players that are on the market. So that's why I wouldn't go for Martin Hjulmand at all. I just don't think it's the right move for United. And the ship has sailed, well and truly sailed. There is a piece from Christian Folk regarding the Jan Diomande situation. And this is interesting because obviously we've heard a lot about the price tag and what Leipzig want for him. He's gone again, and this is all from the German side of things. Christian Folk saying that Diomande is an 87 million player. That's what Leipzig want. Manchester United have received a potential price tag boost in their pursuit of the 19-year-old Ivorian winger Jan Diomande. Leipzig demand 87 million. High fee deters Bayern Munich, but United, City and Liverpool can afford it. That's obviously Christian Folk is big and close to Bayern Munich. The only reason this is a story this morning is because Bayern Munich won't pay 87 million for a playoff. Makes sense, really. They feel, and if you read more into Christian Folk's story and what he writes, is that they don't feel like he's fully developed yet, and they're not willing to spend that amount of money on a 19-year-old. Perfect transfer strategy. And if that's the sign from Germany, with 8 goals and 5 assists in 23 games this season, I'm sorry, them numbers don't convince me enough. Like, don't get me wrong, I like the look of the player, I like the speed, I like the power, the pace, all of that. That works well and what Manchester United don't have at the moment. But again, if there's a better option out there, I'm going for that better option. And I think there are right now at better prices than 87 million for an unproven 19-year-old from Germany. No. And if Bayern Munich are saying no, then you can safely say that that should be a no for everyone else. Now, the other report on this is saying that obviously the higher fee is going to put Bayern Munich off, giving the advantage to Manchester United, City, Liverpool, because the Premier League clubs have got more money. That's the only bit of the story that's saying it's a boost or a positive, and it's really not. It's not a boost or a positive, because I don't want to spend 87 million on any player unless he's the world elite that's outside of the Premier League. Call me Premier League elitist, arrogant, whatever you want to. I'm just not willing to spend that amount of money on someone who hasn't played in the Premier League, who's 19. That is an absolute joke. And yes, you could have the best scouts in the world and they could say that he is the next best thing. Well, let's be honest, we only paid 60-odd million for Benjamin Sesko, who's 22, who's got a bit more experience. I'd rather wait, like Bayern Munich are doing, and see if he does progress even more. He's got a big contract, let's not forget, at Leipzig as well. And they are just looking to cash in right now and take advantage of everyone wanting him and the price that they can get for him. So when it comes to Yan Diomande, again, there might be better options out there. In fact, I'm convinced there will be. And at that price, I'm definitely not touching that. It's not worth it. It definitely, for me, needs to be spent in midfield. And that, I think, around the names that we've already spoken about through the week, and just around that up again, there isn't much more on it. There is a lot of talk again this morning, and we did touch on Stankovic from Club Brugge, a 20-year-old midfielder who is progressing. Just to add extra information on that for you all, again, he has come from Inter Milan into Club Brugge in Belgium. He's doing great. He's scoring a lot of numbers, and he hardly ever gets into the opposition's half of the pitch or that high up the pitch. He is a holding midfielder by trade, but he still scores a lot. Yes, it's the Belgian league, and again, not wanting to put that league down, it is difficult to judge how he's going to do when it comes to coming in to a higher league like the Premier League. Stankovic is a Inter Milan player that they sold to Club Brugge, but Inter have a buyback of 20 million. So people are saying that he's a 20 million pound player. That's great, but no, that's only for Inter Milan. When you read into this story a bit more, there's a lot more depth and detail to it. He is doing well. He is young. He fits the profile of Manchester United. He will be cheaper than the Premier League options, and that might be good for a squad filler type of player for Man United. But that price is only set for Inter Milan. It's not a Manchester United price or any other Premier League club price. Inter have a buyback clause in the deal that they did to sell him to Club Brugge. Just to give a little bit more context to why that player is being spoken about in them numbers. It's not realistic. It could be double that price going to the Premier League. And obviously, if a Premier League club comes in, then any club in Europe is going to try and get more money because they know that the riches there are obviously more. And if it's Man United, yeah, we'll probably try and get rinsed, won't we? And that will come down to the recruitment team and the negotiating team again to go down that one. But that is the story regarding Stankovic and what's happening with him anyway, and why Manchester United are being linked on headlines with that price tag. Don't look too much into it, is all I'm saying. Let's get some more comments coming in. Are you enjoying your Saturday off? I know it's only early. It feels weird, actually. Even Alfie's game got called off this morning, so it's like a mad-free Saturday with no football. So, yeah, taking the chance and the time to actually chill. I will have more content coming out either on Adam FC and FUTV later on as well, so stay tuned for that later. Let's get some comments this morning. Let's get the conversation going, everybody. I've said my bits. Let's get your thoughts now. Buyback by Inter Milan. Yes, that's what I just said, Demu. Andrew is saying... sorry. Different conversation. Almac says, Yan Diomande is one of the most exciting young talents in Europe. The guy that said 40 million doesn't know football. The guy that said 40 million, who said 40 million for Diamande? I'm just saying that Diamande isn't worth 87 million. He can be one of the most exciting talents in European football. He's only doing it in Germany. And I would trust Bayern Munich judgment more than any other, because they do like to buy up the best of the talent around in Germany. And if they're not going near him and want to see more developments, then I don't think any of us in the Premier League should be looking at spending 87 million. Let's not forget that. 87 is way too much. He isn't that good. And I don't care if he is one of the best prospects coming through. Sorry, not at that price. Those types of high transfer fees for midfielders from other leagues should be reserved for midfielders like Aurelio Tchouameni and Federico Valverde, both starters for Real Madrid. Well, that's the sort of price bracket for them players, and it does put it into perspective in terms of what Leipzig are doing. Leipzig are very smart. They're just putting a big price on that so no one takes him. They don't want to lose him. Their development system is obviously like to keep a player for 2 to 3 years, then sell him on their big contracts that they've got. So when it comes to teams coming in early, they just bump the price up to a point where if someone comes in, they go, oh, okay, we'll take the 87 million. We've done good business there. We don't want to sell him, but 87 million, that's a lot of money. Do you think that top midfield players will be looking at what Carrick is doing at United? I do, Mick. I do think that is what them top midfielders are doing. We've said this before. When it comes to a midfielder looking at targets, so looking at other clubs in the Premier League. For instance, let's look at the big four in the Prem. Denali, Baleba, Wharton and Anderson. What are they looking for? European football. Yes. What are they also looking for? Game time. Yes, this does come up a lot in negotiations now, and you'll hear Romano, Ornstein, quite a lot of journalists talking about players wanting to know the plan and what's going to happen in the future, how much they're going to play, so on and so forth. What Manchester United offer that other football clubs don't when it comes to moving to us this summer potentially, with Champions League, let's just say, is guaranteed minutes. Agate, gone. Casemiro, gone. There's only Kobbie Mainoo there. Now, if you're an up-and-coming top midfielder, you're going, I'm in the Champions League. I'm with Manchester United. Everyone's loving Michael Carrick. The football is great. And I'm going to get minutes and probably a decent wage because we're in the Champions League. That's different. And that might be how Manchester United win over some of these players this summer. I think that will be big for United, the fact that they can offer more in terms of game time to these players than other football clubs can. I mean, you look at what Manchester City have got. Rodri's still there. Gonzalez is still there as well. There's a few different hybrid midfielders within Manchester City's ranks, like Bernardo Silva, Phil Foden, Kajinji Reinders. Obviously, you've got the likes of Ryan Cherki as well, more attacking minded. But when you look at Manchester United, it's set. Everyone knows the midfield two is up for grabs for any player coming in. So you've got a great chance of getting minutes. You go to Arsenal, forget it. No one's going to go to Arsenal. You look at Norgard, who's gone there, can't get in the team. Brentford's captain from last season can't get in the team. You've got Zubimendi there, you've got Rice there, you've got Odegaard there, you've got plenty of midfielders there. You're not going to go to them either. So then you're moving down to the likes of Gravenberch and McAllister and Curtis Jones and Florian Wirtz. If you're looking at central midfielders, no, Wirtz is more of an attacking player as well. Is there a guarantee, is all I'm saying, that you're going to get in that team? No, there's not. There's not even a guarantee at Aston Villa. Chelsea? Come on, let's not even go there, shall we? If you're going to compete against Enzo Fernandez and Moises Caicedo, then there's definitely no guaranteed game time there. United is actually set up to attract players on different levels. And I think the wages, the Champions League football, and the guaranteed game time for one of these top midfielders is what's going to appeal to many of them. And I think that's where United have got a huge advantage. United need to find out whoever it is at Bournemouth that keeps finding these gems and gets them on board. Said this before, it's a good point, Andrew. And I can't remember how many times I've said it. People always say, why can't we do what Brentford, Brighton and Bournemouth do in finding these gems? It's never going to work. It's never going to work. United is different. The stepping stone is Brentford, Brighton, Bournemouth, Fulham, Everton. These clubs, no disrespect to them, the scrutiny and pressure at them clubs is night and day in difference compared to Manchester United. United cannot go and get an unknown player like Brighton do and put him in and let him progress. He won't get time. He won't get time. Them players at Brighton are playing free. They're playing in a fantastic setup. And they are a selling football club to survive. And they know there's no pressure. If they don't finish in European places, no pressure. If they don't get a trophy, there's no issue with that at all. They don't hit certain numbers in the season, you're not going to get the scrutiny that you get at Manchester United. These clubs are the feeder clubs. And that's with the most respect being paid to them because the gap is closing. The competitive nature of the Premier League is there for everyone to see. Brentford against Arsenal. Leeds against Chelsea, United against West Ham. No matter where you look in the table, whoever's playing who, that team that's at the bottom or lowest in the table out of that game got a chance of taking points from it. And that's what you're up against now, I think. And that's where people say, we got to be doing what they do. And we can't because United are just too big. It's too big. Liverpool don't do it either. They bring some academy players through. But they don't go and find these gems. They're spending big money now. Liverpool are one of the biggest spenders. Chelsea, biggest spenders. Manchester City do exactly the same. And they're the teams that are the most successful in the Premier League. Arsenal are trying to do it now. Keeping up to near 800 million spent on Mikel Arteta now in trying to get that first big trophy. They bring academy players through and that is obviously a big thing. So the difference between the bigger clubs and say for the Brentford, Bournemouths and Brightons and so on is the academies are filled with the best talent and then they're brought through and monitored and nurtured the way into the first team like Arsenal do, like Manchester City do when they can, and they're sold if they don't make it. Money has to be spent. Money and big money has to be spent on players if you want to be successful in the Premier League. If to a level where City, United, Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea, all of these clubs that are winning trophies, that's the level that it has to be at. You have to spend a lot of money. You cannot just go out and find these gems. It doesn't work like that. Adam Rogers has spoke highly of Carrick and might give us an inside track into getting him. Look, again, bonuses of Michael Carrick is player relationships. He's a great communicator and people love him. Everyone talks glowingly about him. If there's a chance for a player to go, and this is what I said, if Man United get Champions League football, then they can go out and try and get whatever player they want and convince that player to come to the club. That's the power that we get. So it just opens up another avenue for us. And if that is because of Carrick, then Michael Carrick deserves the job. Going back to the top of the show and the top subjects anyway. Please pop a like on the video, everybody. I know there isn't a lot going on in terms of Manchester United with no football going on, but we keep the shows going. I love the fact that so many of you have come in on the Saturday morning when we haven't got a game this weekend. The sort of buzz factor isn't there, is it, with no football on? And I'm kind of gutted we're not in the FA Cup. No VAR, different football. It is different. Best way I can describe it. And it's gutting that we're not actually playing in it. So, yeah. But I appreciate you all coming in again, as always, first thing in the morning on a Saturday especially. And I can see loads of people having their say on Carrick. Carrick Ball won't get us a league run. A league run? What's a league run? The one that we're already on, which is the best form team in the league? Adam, we need to take as long as possible to appoint a new manager. We've made far too many mistakes regarding recruitment on managers and players. No, this is all in line with exactly that. Because no manager is going to come in until the end of the season, whether it be Carrick announcement or a new manager coming in. That's enough time. 3 months is enough time to pick a manager out and make sure it's the right one. Luckily for Man United, Carrick is keeping us afloat with what he's got right now. And that's the argument. Carrick gets Champions League, I think he gets the job. Going off everything that's happened and the managers now that we won't be able to get anyway. That is our show this morning, everybody. Thank you so much for being part of it. Like I said, really appreciate so many of you jumping in early morning on the Saturday, even though we haven't got football this weekend. Have a great Saturday, whatever you're up to. Thank you for the super chats, new members. Welcome to the Mod Club, Greg, as well. That was our big announcement today. And I will see you all later. Don't forget to check out the other content on the channel from last night and, of course, on Adam FC as well, my other channel. I'll be back later with some form of content regarding everything that's going on news-wise around United. Give the video a like on the way out. Make sure you hit the subscribe button as well, please, everyone. And I'll see you all